And if I have a hotel and somebody comes in from China, that's a small amount of money. And it sounds like a lot of money. That's a small. But I was doing services for that. People were staying in these massive hotels, these beautiful hotels, because I have the best hotels. I have the best clubs. I have the best clubs. I have great stuff. And they stay there and they pay. I don't get $8 million for doing nothing.
That was former President Donald Trump admitting that he took money from foreign governments through his businesses while serving in office. And then, of course, claiming that, oh, totally fine. What? They just give me money. They don't give me money for not doing anything. I did services. But it's totally not a conflict of interest or anything like that. Except that, it was a violation of the Foreign Emoluments Clause. That's Article 1, Section 9, Clause 8 of the Constitution. So literally unconstitutional, which read, no title of nobility shall be granted by the United States, and no person holding any office or profit or trust under them shall, without the consent of Congress, accept any present, emolument, office, or title of any kind, whatever, from any king, prince, or foreign state. So Trump got money from China, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, and other countries. And did it have an impact on foreign policy? I believe it did. According to a report, one of the banks that rented space in Trump Tower was helping North Korea skirt U.S. sanctions. And what did Trump do about it? Nothing. He refused to punish the bank, despite a lot of Republicans pointing out and saying, you should probably go after this bank. So, that said, after this...
Oh my God! He admitted!
Republicans have been fairly silent about the entire thing, okay? While at the same time pushing an impeachment of President Joe Biden for allegedly doing something similar while he was vice president without any evidence to back it up, mind you. Whereas Trump, he's just coming out and saying, well, of course I did it. Yeah, of course. I mean, it's not that much money, but I don't get $8 million for doing nothing. Well, okay, well, yeah. Now, that said, one Republican is speaking up, and that's Representative Tim Burchett, Tennessee, said this.
Congressman, one last question, given that so much of our conversation was focused on your description of greed and the way that corruption can influence politics. Former President Donald Trump acknowledged last night during a town hall that his businesses made roughly $8 million from foreign business dealings, one of them a bank in China that has allegedly helped North Korea skirt sanctions. Is that appropriate?
If that's the truth, then no, it's not, Boris. I don't endorse that kind of thing. That's not the league I run in. And no, of course it's not. I would like to get all the details on it. I didn't see it. Probably unlike the rest of Congress, I generally don't watch the news, the left or the right. I just live it. So I would have to see what he was talking about in what reference. But to me personally, that's disturbing.
Oh, you know what? I don't really watch the news, so I don't know. I just live it. You realize that's not just in the news. That was a House Democrat report that had come out from congressional Democrats in the Oversight Committee. And by the way, they used documentation from Trump's former accounting firm, Mazars USA. So they analyzed it, and they found that he received all this money from foreign sources because he refused to divest from his businesses. And by the way, this is just for 2 years. And overall, this is a decision that Trump had made because he knew that world leaders would pay for access to him through his businesses. Why else, by the way, and this is sort of related to it, he raised, once he became president, he actually raised the fees to be a member of Mar-a-Lago by an astronomical amount because he knew that people would pay him more to have access to him through his Mar-a-Lago membership. So come on, he knows how to self-deal. Of course, this is a guy who's going to be like, oh yeah, I'm president of the United States. That means people are going to want to talk to me. I'm going to make money. Cha-ching! That's it. His entire presidency was about self-dealing, using the office to enrich himself and his businesses. And of course, Republicans went along with it. They helped him without a problem. In fact, here's an example of that. As soon as Republicans got into office, according to the report, they closed the House Democrats' investigation and immediately shifted focus to go after Hunter Biden. Because of course they did. They also blocked the release of a range of Trump financial documents. And so as a result, this report, which is $7.8 million, he says, well, it's not much money. That only covers 2 years. He was president for 4 years. And so that means we could only have been seeing a fraction of the money Trump received from foreign governments. It could be a lot more. And so what he meant by saying, well, it's not that much money. I mean, it's a small, I mean, it sounds like a lot of money, but it was a small amount of money. But I was doing, services for them. What he really means, though, is I made a lot more than you'll ever find out about from me servicing foreign governments. Now, Burchett claims to be disturbed about this, claims to want to look into it. Okay, well, if you're serious, then you should look into last year's report by Citizens for Responsibility and Ethics in Washington. They found in their own investigation that Trump made about $160 million in business deals with foreign governments while in office. And that's to say nothing about Ivanka Trump and Jared Kushner and the deals they got while you were in office. And they were unofficial advisors. If he thinks $8 million is disturbing, we ain't seen nothing yet. Although personally, I would be very surprised to see if he actually does follow up and actually does do some research. Here's what I think. This guy voted for Biden's impeachment inquiry. And of course, he has straight up admitted it. Like, yeah, of course, I'm going to do that. I mean, we're not going to remove him or anything. I don't think he's going to get kicked out, but we're just going to do it anyway. You know, why not? And that's without any evidence at all. So now that it's come out that Trump essentially did, well, worse than what they're accusing Joe Biden of doing, now he's got to be like, oh, crap. Now I have to question him, or else, it's going to be unfair, right? And people are going to see that, we're ignoring what Trump's doing versus, because what we're trying to do to Joe Biden right now. So it looks like I'm going to have to say some things about this. I don't really mean it. I'm not really going to look into it, but I have to say something because I was questioned on it. Just to appear to be fair and neutral. But I don't believe that Burchett is going to follow up on it. I don't believe he's going to look at it, into it at all. And if he does, I wouldn't be surprised to say that everything was fine. Now let's focus on Hunter and Joe Biden.